Hey everyone, welcome in to another daily editorial here on the KE Report. I'm getting an update from TriStar Gold, traded on the TSX Venture Exchange under the symbol TSG, and on the OTCQX under the symbol TSGZF. I am chatting again with the president and CEO, Nick Appleyard. Now, TriStar Gold is focused at the Castelo de Sonhos project in Brazil. The project already has a 2.5 million ounce resource, as well as a PFS that was published in October of last year. The most recent update came last week, July 21st, when the company announced that it had submitted the major environmental permit application at this project. So the company completed the environmental impact assessment, the EIA, and the application for the prior license for the Castelo de Sonhos project. I understand this is the first step in more of a three-step environmental licensing process in Brazil, but it also sounds like this is one of the more comprehensive studies and assessments that need to be put forth to the government. Nick, can you take us through this process or this permitting process when it comes to the environmental aspects and this first step that the company has now completed?
Yeah, Corey, happy to. This is, as you said, this is the main environmental study that you do to sort of show the government that this project, as we've defined it, works environmentally in this location. So, it's so you're talking to pretty well every agency that has an interest in the area, every aspect of the project, from community, social, health, education, obviously environmental, the water component and safety component as far as tailings and all that. So it's a very, I believe the document is pushing towards 4,000 pages or so. It's a massive undertaking to get this done. And this is the main report that says, this project works in this location. The process from here is the government will obviously review that document. It'll take them a while because of its size and scope and the multidisciplinary nature of it. And then they will hold a public hearing where obviously the public are allowed to comment on it, and the date of that sort of defines how quickly this process goes, and that we're hoping to have it or expecting to have it before Q2 next year. In theory it could be much earlier, but with the Brazilian elections later this year, we're expecting to push it back into Q2 next year. And then after that they would complete this prior license, maybe Q3 next year. And then after that, then you basically just have to go for the installation licenses, which is like more the engineering style. It's like, okay, how are we going to build it? What do you got to do to build it? And that engineering detail, once they review that, that's a quicker one. You build it, and really the operation license at the end of it is, did you just build what you told them you were going to build? And if you did, they allow you to turn it on and start mining. So that last one is the quickest of all. So that's the three-step. It's right. Here's the environmental project, and then there's the engineering for the installation license, and then operations license once you've complied with everything they've said through that process.
So can you start some of the work on that installation license, the step 2 license now, or do you need to wait to settle this whole initial license?
No, there's work we know that is going to be required for that. So we're absolutely starting that now. Sort of more detailed caving studies on a few caves in the region, more detailed, and in some ways a little backup evidence for things we say in the EIA. That we make sure that we can answer it if they question it. That's going into the work we're doing now. But there's a lot of work which now that the EIA is complete and the team is sort of finished a massive amount of work here. They're having a breather, but now they go straight into now starting the work for the installation license. So that work basically starts now for my team, as the EIA has now been handed over to the government, and we're waiting for the response from them, which it'll take them several months for that first response. So we're off full steam ahead on the next phase now.
Okay. Well, I'm sure we'll keep up to date on how that process is moving forward, but I think we can also look to the rest of the country here. We've actually seen some positive developments out of Brazil from more development stage companies. It's a nice break from, it seemed like a lot of bad news that we were getting throughout South America, Brazil, at least projects are moving forward here. What's some of the recent news in country from even some of your neighbors that we can point to see that Brazil is moving forward, still pro mining?
Yeah, no, and I think that's a big deal. I mean, Brazil is a mining country, but we've always said that where we are, Pará state, is sort of the prime mining jurisdiction within Brazil. It generates the most revenue for the country as far as mining taxes, and it's also it attracts the most investment. Because it is a great thing. So yeah, well, I think what you're referring to, we've just seen this last week. G Mining Ventures, who are just up the road from us, have got their fully financed the Tocantinzinho project, which has got its installation license, and that's moving forward really nicely. It's a large-scale open-cut gold mine, and in the same week, Belo Sun have had the state Supreme Court overturn the suspension, so they are now full steam ahead with their construction license and ready to build Volta Grande. So it really, to me, that sort of shows that these large-scale open-cut gold mines in Pará State are a good place to be. They are moving forward nicely.
How do those projects compare to Castelo de Sonhos? Because I know everyone's going to look at valuations, and look, valuations are down across the board. But when you're comparing these assets, I realize they're a little bit further ahead. But valuation-wise, how do you compare them?
No, I think I do look at them quite a bit, and I sort of look forward at say where G Mining are. Their project is a little bit bigger than ours, but it's got a few more infrastructure challenges. So there are some pretty good comparables. But then you see with the installation license or the prior license and the installation license, what their valuation is. That's us looking ahead 12 to 18 months, and so we look at that valuation and go, okay, that's where we're chasing, that's where we want to be, and it's quite a few multiples on where we are now, but there's not much in the way. There's nothing stopping us really from getting there. We've got the money in the bank to do it. We don't need to finance, and we got the team on the ground working on it now.
Okay, let's also talk about a general drilling update then. It's quickly mentioned at the bottom of that recent news, but the company has 2 drill rigs turning, 2,500-meter program. Take us through how this is progressing, please.
Yeah, we got the 2 core rigs, and what we're aiming at there is just seeing where the high grade's going, and part of it's going to feed into the permitting. Are there areas where we want to sort of push the boundaries out to make sure we're capturing the high grade zones within these permit applications that we've done now? But yeah, that's advancing nicely. Like I said, 2 core rigs with a good drilling company, aimed at expanding the high-grade reserves at Esperanza South, and there'll be a few exploration holes. There'll be 500, maybe 1,000 meters of pure exploration in there as well. But in general, it's chasing the high-grade zones for reserve expansion. Stepping out somewhere between 200 meters to a kilometer from the known reserves.
Now, is any of this drilling, or even more so as you move forward, let's say into step 2 of the permitting process, that installation permit? Do you need to get to a feasibility stage, or can you still use the PFS to satisfy the requirements?
Feasibility study will definitely be of assistance, and I think that's what we would look to do is, with the installation of the prior license expected sort of Q3 next year, if things go reasonably well, your installation license takes 6 to 9 months or something after that. We would want to have the bankable feasibility study done in parallel with that, so that we've got those results in hand as we're working on the installation license. So we would want to be starting that sort of 12 months from now.
Okay, quick question then before I get you out of here, Nick. Deals with cash in the bank. It's critical right now for any company to have cash in the bank. Where does the company stand? How long is that going to last you?
Yeah, I think we've got around 8 million US, around 10 million Canadian in the bank right now. So we're in a pretty good position. Obviously, with 2 rigs turning, we're spending a bit of money, and obviously the permitting process the team are working through. But we anticipate ending this year with around about 5 million US in the bank. So we're in a strong position now to do the permitting work, everything we need to do, right through until Q3 next year at least, and still have money in the bank. Obviously it'll be opportunistic if the market improves, but if the market's tough like it is now, you just put your head down, get to work, and move the project forward.
All right, Nick, I appreciate the update. As always, I will post a link to the TriStar Gold website and the recent news section so you all can read over that news. And if you have any follow-up questions, please email me, fleck@kereport.com. Nick, thanks again for your time. Hope you have a great rest of your week. Please keep us up to date on future news.
Thanks a lot, Corey. Will do.